A lot of people don't want people to know about this.
It's not a normal movie in the sense that it's not fictional.
Bordertown is about, I think, one of the most shocking situations that exist in the world today, and that is the murder of women, mainly factory workers, in the border town of Juarez. There have been over 400 women brutally murdered and raped, and there is almost 5,000 missing.
The biggest thing about this movie is what goes on, what has been going on. A lot of the murders take place in the factories that are on the border, which is why the movie's called Bordertown. Greg and I have been working together for a long time now. He put me in my first movie, which I never forget, and Selena, which we did together. And he always believed in me, and we have a great collaborative relationship. If I've learned anything from Greg, it's that. Get involved with stuff that really, really matters to you.
I wanted to make a compelling human drama about people, real people facing real life situations, using these murders and the thriller part of it as a backdrop to a human drama that would touch us. Obviously, I have a very long working relationship with Jennifer. And, she got involved in the project kind of early on because she was very compelled by this character. And as we wrote it, she brought a lot to the dance, and I rewrote it with her. There were certain surprises for me because Jennifer wanted to do certain things with the character that I never thought, she would want to do.
Foreign correspondent?
How about that?
And so she was ready to do something challenging.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, your first
It
assignment.
would allow her to kind of spread her wings as an actress, because it's a very difficult part, and deal with something that she felt real strongly about, which is the women of Juarez.
It was pretty easy meeting for him because once I heard what was happening down there, obviously, and all of the atrocities and everything that was going on, I just felt like, we have to make this movie. He's like, I know! We have to make this movie.
Okay, we ready here? The way we had to shoot the film was interesting because initially we were going to shoot it all in Mexico, and then there were so many problems and it got so dangerous that we couldn't shoot it all in Mexico, and we did shoot a lot of it in New Mexico. But we had to go to Mexico to shoot part of the film. We couldn't go to Juarez because that was far too dangerous. So the way we did it was we shot in Mexicali and Nogales, and then I sent a second unit in Juarez itself. And it was all intercut together so that it all looks like it takes place in Juarez. It wasn't necessarily that easy when we were shooting in Nogales with Jennifer. There were people that didn't want us to be doing the movie, but also because so many people just wanted to see Jennifer Lopez. There was a scene in which there was like 10,000 people crowding the streets.
There's people up there gawking, staring right down the barrelhead. She's got to move, that lady.
So that scene of her running through the streets of Juarez chasing a bus was one of the hardest scenes to shoot. She was very courageous in doing this movie. We had death threats, and it was scary at times. They had a guy who appeared on nationwide television in Mexico. In shadow, we didn't see his face. Saying that if we shot the movie at the border, that they were going to kill us.
Let's get her back to your house.
I play a reporter named Lauren Adrian who gets a story to go down to Mexico and write about the murders that have been going down in Juarez. And I think with this character, who's a very strong person and who kind of is very ambitious and know what she wants and is super smart, but at the same time has this empty space inside that needs to be filled that she's not even willing to deal with.
Well, you speak enough Spanish.
I don't speak Spanish. I don't know anything about Mexico.
And this story comes into her life and it takes her there. It makes her face those demons. It makes her face everything that she's been trying to push down for so long, which is the truth about life. When we face our demons, when we face those little blocks, those things that really haunt us, that we're not sure about, that scare us, that's when we're able to grow.
For Jennifer to take this on, to do this part, was a very courageous thing. And the second lead in the movie is Eva, the young 16-year-old factory worker who struggles out of her grave and then is motivated to find the men who did this to her. You meet a really wonderful actress who's very young, and the character is indígena, which means she's Native American.
She comes from Oaxaca, and she has been going through a really difficult life.
But there is no money here.
Finally, we centered on Maya Zapata,
Takes everything.
who I feel is
All the
the
money.
finest young actress out of Mexico today.
For us, nothing.
The Mexican government has created a situation where they're driving people off their land, and this is what happens to Eva's family, and they have to move.
Mi papá se fue para trabajar al otro lado. Hace muchos años que no lo miro.
I feel so comfortable. I feel like I was in a good hands to do this movie. To be with a person who really cares about this trouble.
I couldn't turn my back on this. I was so moved by it that I wanted to do something about it.
So did you read the piece? What'd you think?
Best thing you've ever done. It's got something I've never seen in your work before. Some incredible humanity.
For her mentor, we asked Martin Sheen to do it, and he loved the script and he wanted to work with Jennifer.
Frankly, I couldn't have done a better job myself.
They have some big scenes together.
Goddamn right I am!
You're blaming the NAFTA free trade agreement.
It isn't free trade, it's slave trade. It's a goddamn scam. And everybody is making too much money to give a shit about
Listen to
these
me.
women.
There's a
Just minute.
reason
These are
why you
very
don't read about it
serious
in the
accusations,
newspapers.
Lauren. In fact, they're damn near criminal. And this newspaper is not prepared to make them, and you sure as hell can't substantiate
true.
them. This
The
is
North
now-
American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, caused the creation of thousands of factories to be built along the border with the United States and Mexico, because corporations could manufacture television sets, they could manufacture computers, they could manufacture leaf blowers, everything imaginable for very cheap, and then bring them into the United States, paying no tariffs or duties, nothing.
The factories themselves are manned by women in a weird way. And the reason being is because they don't complain as much, they work longer hours, and so there's tons and tons of factories along the border that have these women, and here is where all of these murders have been taking place.
Both governments, the United States and Mexico, are deeply invested with the North American Free Trade Agreement, and they don't want a lot of bad light, shed upon it.
And I congratulate Amnesty International for having raised the awareness about this tragedy to actress Jennifer Lopez, and I commend Amnesty International for their extraordinary work. It's a pleasure and an honor that I deliver this to Jennifer Lopez on behalf of Amnesty International.
It is obviously a great honor to receive this award from Amnesty International. It has been my great honor to produce Bordertown, to be a part of it. I felt very strongly about it from the moment I heard about it. And it is my equal honor to accept this award tonight from Amnesty International. Thank you.
Amnesty International is very big on this issue with the women of Juarez, and this is one of their focuses, is dealing with this femicide that is going on in Juarez. The only difference between Bordertown and a film like Silence of the Lambs is that in Bordertown, the serial killers are real, and they're really out there and they're really killing.
It's happening next door to us. It is an incredible injustice, and when you look at it, knowing that all of these products that are assembled there are things that we use every day, it's kind of like we're all involved in it.
All these movies talks to make justice in a place where that justice doesn't exist. We are trying to that the people push the government, the Mexican government, and every government to do something about that. That has to stop.